something we get. Leadership is something we practice. It is less about the authority we hold and more about the responsibility we choose. Today, as we unlock what it means to win in leadership, I want to start with a simple truth. Winning is not a moment, it is a direction. Most people chase victories, numbers, medals, achievements. Leaders chase purpose, impact, trust, and people. Winning becomes a result, not an obsession. 1. Winners focus on why, not just what. Every organization knows what it does. Some know how they do it differently, but very few understand why they do it. The why is the anchor. It is the reason people show up even when it's hard. It is the fuel for loyalty, resilience, and innovation. Strategies fail, markets shift, plans crumble, but a clear why holds everything together. When a leader communicates purpose, people don't just follow instructions, they follow belief, and that is the difference between compliance and commitment. 2. Real leaders orient toward responsibility. You can spot real leaders in moments of crisis. Because when pressure rises, two things happen. The insecure leader rushes to protect themselves. The true leader steps forward to protect the team. Responsibility is not glamorous, it's often invisible. But leadership is choosing to carry the weight that others cannot or will not. Winning isn't about being the strongest, it's about being the most responsible. 3. Leaders build a circle of trust, not a pyramid of fear. Fear may create speed, but trust creates endurance. People who fear their leader may work hard for the moment, but people who trust their leader will work hard for the mission. A leader's job isn't to command excellence. A leader's job is to create an environment where excellence becomes possible. Trust is built slowly through consistency, through honesty, and through the courage to be human. 4. Winning requires putting people first. The greatest competitive advantage in the world is not technology, not strategy, not money. It is people who feel valued. People who feel valued give their best. People who feel ignored give the minimum, and people who feel threatened give up. The best leaders don't ask, "How do I get more out of my people?" They ask, "How do I help my people become more?" Winning begins when your people feel seen. 5. Great leaders play the infinite game. There are two types of players, those who play to win the next quarter and those who play to win the next decade. One celebrates short-term victories. The other builds long-term legacy. Leadership is an infinite game. The goal is not to beat others. It is to become better than your previous self. If you build for today, you survive. If you build for tomorrow, you grow. If you build for the future, you lead. 6. Courage is the gateway to all great leadership. Courage doesn't always roar. Sometimes courage is a quiet decision made in the dark, to tell the truth, to try again, to choose people over pressure, to stay when it's easier to leave, to stand alone if necessary. Courage unlocks leadership because courage unlocks authenticity, and authenticity unlocks trust. Final thought, leadership isn't about you. Leadership is not about being the hero. It is about making others feel like heroes. It is not about being the smartest person in the room. It is about creating a room where everyone gets smarter. It is not about winning alone. It is about lifting others so the team wins together. If you want to unlock leadership, if you want to win in the long run, start with this: serve people, stand for purpose, lead with courage, and trust will follow. That is leadership unlocked. That is how we win today, tomorrow, and always. Leadership starts with a clear why, not a position or title. When leaders begin with a deep sense of purpose, something powerful happens. People don't just follow them because they have authority, they follow because they see meaning. A clear why becomes the gravitational force that pulls people together, aligns decisions, and gives direction when everything else feels uncertain. It is the invisible engine behind movement, loyalty, and motivation. Without it, leadership becomes a mechanical process of giving orders and expecting compliance. With it, leadership becomes an inspiring journey where people willingly contribute their best because they believe in the reason behind the work. A title can make someone a manager, but it cannot make them a leader. True leadership emerges when others feel the pull of a purpose that resonates with their own values. It is the difference between telling people what to do and showing them why it matters. When people understand the why behind their efforts, their work becomes more than a task. They become part of something larger than themselves. That sense of belonging and significance is what creates commitment. Tasks may motivate action for a moment, but purpose motivates action for a lifetime. A clear why also simplifies decisions. In environments of uncertainty, people often scramble for control. trying to predict every outcome or plan for every scenario. But leaders who know their why possess a steady internal compass. They don't need to chase every new opportunity or panic when challenges arise. They can filter choices through one question: does this serve our purpose? This clarity removes confusion, reduces wasted effort, and keeps teams aligned even as circumstances change. The why becomes a guiding light, especially when the path ahead is foggy. Starting with why also attracts people who believe what you believe. Skills can be taught, but belief and passion cannot be forced. When leaders communicate their purpose clearly, they naturally draw individuals who are energized by the same mission. This alignment creates trust, and trust transforms a group of individuals into a unified team. People want to feel part of something meaningful. They want to wake up knowing their efforts contribute to a vision that matters. Working for a paycheck keeps people present. Working for a purpose keeps people engaged. When leaders rely only on authority or title, they may achieve compliance, but compliance is fragile. It disappears when pressure rises or when nobody is watching. Commitment, on the other hand, endures. Commitment is born from purpose, and commitment creates resilience. A team with a strong why can withstand setbacks, adapt quickly, and maintain unity because they understand the significance of their work. They are not just trying to survive the struggle, they are moving towards something that matters. A clear why also fuels innovation. When people understand the purpose, they feel empowered to think creatively, to explore new methods, and to challenge outdated patterns. They are not afraid to experiment because they know what they are working toward. Innovation is rarely the result of rigid rules or forced pressure. It grows naturally where purpose gives direction. Leaders who start with why create cultures where curiosity is welcomed and progress becomes a shared mission rather than a top-down directive. Purpose strengthens communication. Without a clear why, messages become transactional, requests, instructions, and updates. But when communication is anchored in purpose, every message carries meaning. Team members understand not only what needs to be done, but also the deeper impact behind it. This eliminates misunderstandings, reduces friction, and fosters collaboration. When people see the bigger picture, they are more willing to help others, share ideas, and support the mission collectively. Leadership anchored in purpose also builds authenticity. People can sense when a leader's words are empty or driven by ego. They can also sense when a leader is genuinely guided by conviction. A clear why creates integrity because actions, decisions, and behaviors all align with a deeper belief. Authentic leaders don't need to pretend. They don't need to manipulate or force loyalty. Their consistency becomes visible, and that consistency becomes credibility. Teams follow leaders who are real, not leaders who merely try to look impressive. A strong why gives teams emotional energy. Work becomes difficult when it feels directionless. Motivation declines, burnout increases, and creativity shuts down. But when people believe in the purpose, challenges become meaningful. Obstacles feel like steps rather than barriers. Effort transforms into passion. The emotional connection to purpose strengthens determination, and determination sustains performance even in difficult seasons. Purpose-centered leadership also creates legacy. Titles fade, achievements get replaced, and recognition is temporary, but a clear why leaves an imprint. It shapes culture, influences behavior, and continues to inspire long after the leader is gone. When leadership is built around purpose, the impact outlives the individual. People remember how they felt, what they learned, and how the mission changed them. That is the real mark of leadership, not personal success, but meaningful influence. Starting with why also humanizes leadership. At its core, leadership is not about controlling systems or managing tasks. It is about guiding people. People with emotions, aspirations, fears, and dreams. When leaders articulate a meaningful purpose, they connect with those human elements. They speak to the heart, not just the mind. They remind people that their work has value, that they have value, and that together they can create something worthwhile. Purpose makes leadership relational, not mechanical. A leader with a clear why inspires others to find their own why. And when individuals operate from their personal sense of purpose, the entire team becomes stronger, more aligned, and more driven. Leadership begins with one person's why but grows into a collective why that elevates everyone involved. Winning comes from building trust, not fear. Trust is the foundation that allows people to bring their full selves to the work, to take risks without hesitation, and to believe that their contribution matters. Fear may create fast results, but those results are fragile. People may move quickly when they are scared, but they do so with tension, resentment, and minimal creativity. Trust, on the other hand, creates a steady environment where people feel safe to think, to collaborate, and to speak the truth. When people trust their leader, they don't just follow instructions. They invest their effort, their ideas, and their loyalty. Fear limits the potential of every person it touches. It forces people to hide mistakes, avoid responsibility, and protect themselves rather than support each other. In fearful cultures, teammates compete against one another instead of standing together. Conversations become guarded, innovation slows, and relationships weaken. The work may still get done, but it lacks spirit. It lacks the shared energy that makes a team come alive. Fear may push people to perform today, but it destroys the desire to stay tomorrow. Trust does the opposite. Trust opens the door for vulnerability, which is the birthplace of growth. When someone trusts their leader, they are willing to admit what they don't know, ask for help when needed, and stretch beyond their comfort zone. They become open to learning because they are not afraid of judgment. They collaborate because they are not afraid of being undermined. They share ideas because they are not afraid of being dismissed. Trust creates psychological freedom, and from that freedom comes excellence. Leaders who build trust understand that people are not machines. They don't function at their best under constant pressure or criticism. They thrive when they feel respected, valued, and understood. A leader who invests in trust listens before speaking, supports before correcting, and shows consistency even when circumstances are chaotic. Trust is built in the everyday moments, how a leader reacts to mistakes, how they share credit, how they communicate during uncertainty, how they treat the least powerful person in the room. These small actions form the emotional climate in which teams operate. Winning rooted in trust is sustainable. It grows stronger with time because trust deepens with experience. When people trust each other, cooperation becomes natural. They anticipate one another's needs, adapt quickly, and take pride in shared victories. They do more than what is required because they care about the mission and the people beside them. Trust turns a group into a community and a workplace into a tribe. It is the invisible force that holds teams together when challenges arrive. Fear may create control, but trust creates commitment, and commitment is where true performance lies. When trust is present, people don't work for the leader. They work with the leader. They don't just complete tasks. They pursue meaning. They don't just try to win. They try to win together. Great leaders play the infinite game, focusing on long-term impact over short-term victories. An infinite mindset shifts the entire approach to leadership because it is rooted in growth, evolution, and contribution rather than immediate rewards. In a finite game, the goal is to win. In an infinite game, the goal is to keep playing, keep improving, and keep advancing a purpose that outlasts any single moment. Leaders who embrace this mindset understand that quick wins are not the measure of true success. They look beyond quarterly results, beyond temporary applause, and beyond personal gain. They think in terms of legacy, culture, and the future they are helping create. An infinite mindset prioritizes endurance over speed. It accepts that meaningful progress takes time, patience, and steady commitment. Great leaders don't panic when obstacles appear because they know that challenges are part of the journey. They don't chase shortcuts or easy solutions that compromise long-term values. Instead, they plant seeds, nurture relationships, and develop systems that will continue to grow long after the immediate pressure has passed. They recognize that real transformation is slow but lasting. Focusing on the long term also changes how leaders treat people. In a short-term mindset, people become tools for achieving quick results. In an infinite mindset, people are the heart of the mission. Leaders invest in them, develop them, and protect them because they understand that a strong, empowered team is what sustains success over time. They prioritize trust, learning, and collaboration because they know these are the elements that weather uncertainty and keep the organization moving forward. Great leaders with an infinite mindset are not threatened by others' success. They don't fear competition. They welcome it because it pushes them to grow. They understand that improvement is constant and that there is always more to learn. They encourage innovation, curiosity, and experimentation because they are not afraid of failure. Failure in an infinite game is not a stopping point, but a stepping stone. It is a source of information that helps refine strategy and strengthen resilience. The infinite mindset also shapes how leaders view their role. They see themselves not as commanders, but as stewards, temporary guardians of something bigger than themselves. Their goal is not to be the hero, but to ensure the mission continues even without them. They build people who can lead, systems that can last, and cultures that can adapt. Their ego does not drive the ship, the purpose does. This humility creates clarity and alignment, making the team more focused and united. An infinite mindset creates stability during uncertainty. When external conditions shift, leaders who think long-term don't lose direction. They may revise strategies, but their purpose remains unchanged. Their consistency gives people confidence, and that confidence keeps the team grounded. While others panic or chase trends, infinite-minded leaders stay rooted in principles that guide wise decisions. In an infinite game, success is measured not by comparison, but by progress. The question is not, did we beat them, but are we better than we were yesterday? This mindset encourages continuous improvement rather than temporary triumph. It removes pressure to outperform others and replaces it with the drive to outperform previous limits. This focus on growth over competition fuels sustainable excellence. Great leaders play the infinite game because they understand that leadership is not a race with a finish line. It is a journey of purpose, patience, and impact. It is about building something that matters and leaving it stronger than they found it.